Money often feels like a solid, tangible thing, something you can hold in your hand, but its true nature is far more abstract and complex than most people realize. Governments possess a unique and powerful ability: the authority to create money out of thin air through fiat currency systems, a process that has profound impacts on inflation rates and economic inequality across society. Historically, money was typically backed by physical commodities like gold or silver, acting as a direct claim on real assets with intrinsic value. However, this system changed dramatically in 1971 during what is known as the Nixon shock, when President Nixon ended the gold standard and suspended the dollar's convertibility into gold, fully ushering in the modern era of fiat money not backed by any commodity. In today's world, the value of fiat money derives entirely from government decree, legal tender laws, and the trust of the public, rather than any physical backing. When governments need more funds, they issue bonds or debt securities, which are then purchased by the central bank, such as the Federal Reserve, crediting the government's account and effectively creating brand new money in the process. This money creation mechanism is commonly referred to as quantitative easing or QE, where the central bank injects fresh money into the economy by buying these bonds, which lowers interest rates, boosts liquidity, and encourages lending and investment. We witnessed this on a massive scale during the 2008 global financial crisis, when the Federal Reserve expanded its balance sheet dramatically, and again during the COVID-19 pandemic from 2020 onward, with trillions injected to stabilize markets. Beyond central banks, commercial banks play a vital role in money creation through the process of fractional reserve banking and lending practices. When a commercial bank issues a loan to a borrower, it simultaneously creates a new deposit in the borrower's account, effectively expanding the total money supply in the economy without any new physical currency being printed. Governments frequently turn to money creation to finance budget deficits, situations where spending exceeds tax revenues, allowing them to fund essential projects like infrastructure or public services. This approach is particularly politically appealing because it avoids the need for direct tax increases, which are often unpopular with voters, enabling spending without immediate fiscal pain. Moreover, money creation serves as a crucial and rapid tool for stimulating the economy during severe crises, offering a quicker response than traditional fiscal policies like tax cuts or spending bills that require legislative approval. Examples include the massive stimulus during the 2008 financial meltdown and the unprecedented interventions amid the COVID-19 lockdowns to prevent economic collapse. However, the specific way in which this new money enters the economy creates significant distributional consequences, a phenomenon first described by economist Richard Cantillon in the 18th century and now known as the Cantillon effect. Under this effect, the initial recipients of the newly created money gain the greatest advantages before widespread price adjustments occur. These early recipients are typically large banks, financial institutions, and those closely connected to government and markets who can spend or invest this money at its full current value. As a result, they drive up prices of assets like stocks, bonds, and real estate before general inflation spreads, allowing them to acquire more real goods and services than later recipients. In contrast, wages for the average worker and the general population usually rise much more slowly, if at all, lagging far behind the inflating asset prices. This dynamic creates and widens the wealth gap between those who hold appreciating assets, often the affluent, and everyday wage earners who rely on salaries. Inflation, which frequently follows an expanded money supply, functions like a hidden tax on the population by eroding the purchasing power of every dollar in circulation. With more money chasing the same quantity of goods and services, prices inevitably rise, as dramatically seen in the U.S. inflation surge from 2020 to 2022, when rates hit over 9% at their peak. This inflationary pressure hits hardest those living on fixed incomes, such as retirees on pensions and individuals holding most of their wealth in cash savings rather than assets. Their savings and monthly stipends by progressively less over time, effectively transferring wealth away from them without any explicit taxation. In inflationary environments, debtors often come out ahead because they repay loans with currency that has lost value, while asset holders see their investments like homes and stocks appreciate significantly. On the flip side, wage earners struggle as their paychecks fail to keep pace, and savers watch their nest eggs diminish in real terms. Overall, this process of money creation and inflation leads to a substantial redistribution of wealth that exacerbates economic inequality and widens social divides. Research, including studies on the U-shaped relationship between inflation and inequality, shows that it disproportionately burdens lower-income households who spend more on essentials with rising prices. Managing and controlling the scale of money creation proves incredibly challenging for policymakers, and once initiated, reversing it through measures like quantitative tightening can trigger market disruptions. There's often a prevailing illusion that governments and central banks can precisely fine-tune the economy via monetary policy, overlooking the inherent complexities and lags involved. Yet, the long-term consequences of excessive money creation are severe, potentially culminating in high sustained inflation or even hyperinflation scenarios that have historically destabilized entire economies, as seen in places like 1920s Germany or 2000s Zimbabwe. These outcomes undermine currency stability, savings, and public confidence in financial systems. Grasping these money creation mechanisms, their uneven distributional effects like the Cantillon effect, and the formidable challenges in controlling them is essential for anyone seeking to truly understand the impacts on our economy, wealth distribution, and society at large. Ultimately, while governments wield this power, it comes with arithmetic realities and consequences that cannot be ignored.